Morning all. Before we start our session, I want to ask you a question. How many of you have checked your mobile phone in last 10 minutes? If you can raise your hands. Okay, hold on. Last 20 minutes? So, without mobile phone, our life is impossible. Is it so? Please repeat loud. Energy like Dr. Bhatia said. Okay, so it is the influence of technology. And our session today is based on technology. Marketing, as we know before, was an art. I have been taught in my branding classes. Then when I came to an agency, I have been taught, no, it is a science. Then when I came into corporates, I have been taught, no, it's a process. Last 3 years precisely, we marketeers are following, okay, is now becoming more of technology driven. This morning when I met my co-panelists, we are having a discussion in terms of how technology has invaded marketing as a domain. So, we are getting into technology every day in a way wherein it has invaded into our life and it has influenced us. When it has influenced us in terms of as the general public or maybe the audience or maybe the part of the society, so how marketers are taking this further and how technology is complementing marketing in our day-to-day life. We need to, so we are having a discussion on that. So today in the panel, I am having my 3 co-panelists, Eric, who is presenting IBM Malaysia. I am having David, who is part of AVEVA, another technology solution providing company, and I am having Kenneth, who is from the agency. So to start the session, I will be passing on it to Eric to give us some sort of overview in terms of how technology, in terms of infrastructure for the marketers, is how IBM is taking it further, and whether from infrastructure, how you are taking it further to softwares, in terms of analytics, in terms of market automation, cloud, marketing cloud is a big terminology which we have discussed in the morning. So your observations, Eric.
Thanks, Aroon. Right. In the interest of the theme that has been assigned for us today, we're talking about marketing unicorns. Right? And I have 3 key messages that I want the participants here to take back. And in the context of how technology is reshaping the marketing profession, the first message that I want you to take back is embrace digital disruption. That's the first message. Second message I want you to take back is infuse digital DNA. The third message is go for full brain marketing. Let me elaborate these 3 things. First one, when I talk about embrace digital disruption, we're in a world where whatever we do is being surrounded by the technologies, whether it's mobile or whether it's through the computing technology or cloud or Internet of Things, and it's all about technology. And it's reshaping how organizations are moving forward. The industry's lines are blurring. New competitors are engaging and emerging in the market space. And that puts a lot of organizations in a very compromised situation. Now, it's either you innovate or be prepared to be expelled out from the industry that you're in. Right? And in today's context, viewed through technologies, the cost of entry has also been greatly reduced. The time to enter a new market space has also been shortened. And at the same time, the technologies are also changing the ground rules in which the various organizations can cooperate and also compete, right, against the product you're offering. So that's the first part. Second part is in terms of building the digital DNA. A lot of marketers that I talk to are very, very panicky about the technology that is impacting their industry. Right? You've seen it in the transportation industry, you've seen it in the retail industry, and also you've seen it in some of the banking industry, for example, fintech and all those kind of stuff. It's whether you like it or not, technology is going to reshape your industry. Now, my advice to marketers are a couple of things that you can do, right, with this onslaught of digital coming on board. First one is you can look at in terms of building your own marketing team digital capabilities, which means that we're training them, sending them for classes, at the same time certifying them on digital capabilities. Second thing that you can do in terms of how do you actually enhance the digital DNA in the team by hiring people that are digitally savvy. That's one of it, right? Making sure you mix your old marketing talents with the new talents so that you build a right ecosystem on it. Now the third part is basically look for opportunities to do co-creation or do innovation with your clients or with your vendors who have the capability to do it, right? I'll move on to the third area to talk about the full brain marketer. If you take a look at the way marketeers are being hired, right? A lot of us are basically on the creative side. We started off from this domain, right? If you look at where the industry is heading with the various type of technologies, we actually need the left hands, the left brain, and the right brain together. That's the reason why we're talking about the art of science in marketing. And whichever organizations that are able to tap into the full brain marketeers would be the ones that will be very successful, right? These observations are actually derived from the IBM CMO Global survey. We surveyed 723 CMOs globally, and these are basically some of the things that the 6%, right, of these so-called marketing unicorns are telling us that they are preparing themselves, right, with this onslaught of technology. Alright, so I'll end here in view of the time constraint.
Thanks, Rick. So when you're talking of the CIOs and the CMOs battle, the next question is to you, David. So when you say technology, that brings in experience. So when you say digital is all about creating experience or building experience for your customers. So I was just going through your website when we had a discussion in the morning. We were talking of contextual technology. So how you are helping your customers, your prospects, like from B2B as well as from B2C, how you are building in experience for your customers using technology. So if you can give your observation and maybe a case study to the audience.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much to the Pullman Congress for hosting us. And thanks to Eric for setting the stage. I think what Eric mentioned on those three key aspects of how do we get ourselves adapted into leveraging technology, and that's precisely what AVEVA did. Now, AVEVA is a quick summary. We're a solution provider for very specific industries, specifically around oil and gas, power, and marine. And our journey into providing a solution for the customer was stemmed from the fact that we studied the customer's current pain, and today, a large portion of their business today is centered around, to my great surprise, is around manual work, specifically around Excel, spreadsheets. Now, we deal with companies that are billion-dollar industries in the oil and gas, and it's shocking to see the amount of data that the engineers today have to deal with. Now, that's just one business pain. The other pain is from the entire industry as a whole. The entire industry, as we know, oil and gas is probably in a flux right now. But we see the other emerging industries like in power and energy and utilities. These markets are shifting. And our engineers, our customers, the engineers themselves are loaded and inundated with loads and loads of Excel sheets. So what we had to do was to simplify that whole process, and we had to move from a manual system into a 3D system. So from looking at spreadsheets, looking at every part of the plant, looking at every tools and assets on a plant, on an oil rig, we have virtually put all of those information on a digital dashboard. And everything is at your fingertips today. So what we enable is basically decision making, streamlining the business process, and making sure there's returns of investments in the systems that they've invested in. The biggest shift today is our customers. And that's where we looked at the requirements, we looked at where the markets are emerging, and precisely what Eric was talking about, the move towards digital. It's a foregone conclusion, and we had to bring that into reality for the customers. So today, in a plant, in an oil and gas rig, whether upstream or downstream, or even an energy utility plant, power generation, we could convert all of this information into a digital dashboard, and they can see this visually on a screen via the fingers. So we had to translate gigabytes and terabytes of data into a 3D simulation, which is what we call as design in context. So we were converting information that what you see in a spreadsheet into 3D data or 3D visualization. So that was the paradigm shift that we had to do. And one of the motivators that we had to move is to outthink our competition. So if the competition was trying to enhance service delivery to our customers today by having a computer system via a computer-aided design system, we went a notch further to give them 3D visualization, so that whatever they see in their screen is a reality of what's available on the oil rig or the plant, or even in a shipbuilding or shipyard.
Okay, so now coming to you, Kenneth. So when we are talking of companies like IBM, companies like AVEVA helping enterprises in terms of building up their infrastructure, helping them with the right kind of solutions. So how you as an agency coming into the existence when we are talking of the breeze that is being managed by the CMTUs, the mix of the new unicorns, the brain that is mix of technology as well as marketing. So how you as the agency partner coming into the picture for brands from B2C domain as well as B2B domain in terms of helping and bridging the gap?
Hi, good morning. Yes, so I prepared something else, but after this conversation, organically, I come up with something new. So pardon me if I'm slightly unstructured, but I think this is good. So I'm going to go into the role of the agency in the marketing technology field. And there are 3 points I want to make. And I'm giving you these 3 points up front, so in case I get scattered, you guys can lead me back on track. So number 1 is this: an agency is supposed to be an anchor. I'll explain more in a minute. Number 2, an agency is supposed to be an advisor. And number 3, an agency is supposed to be an actor. Let me go into these 3 points in slightly greater detail. Number 1, the agency is supposed to be, what is it again? Anchor, yes. You see, that's why I put the points up front. And what it basically means is this: I want you to be brave with me. How many of you will confess that it's very hard to keep up with digital? Raise your hands. It's very hard to keep up with the trends, all the different things that are happening. Yeah, good, very brave souls, thank you. And that's precisely the point, because digital marketing is about being comfortable with fragmentation. And I know a lot of media agency principals from back in the day, and back in the day means 5 years ago, like it's not long ago, where there's just a struggle, because prior to this, all you really need the content for is TV, radio, print, full stop. And those best practices have been around for centuries. But the big issue right now is with digital. Like, I mean, you know, it's not just 3 mediums, it's multiple mediums. Every few months, things keep changing. We had programmatic last year, we have contextual this year, and we're going to personalization soon. And all these are like jargon, all these are like, wow, all these terms are like mad. But the agency is there, and this is a real, ideal case scenario, because it may not actually happen, or it may not happen for a lot of agencies, because the adaptation can take a bit slower, because the best practices are just moving so fast. The agency needs to be an anchor. And here's the point: the human operating system has not had a reboot in 2,000 years. So Windows OS and everything has a reboot every 2 years. Apple OS has a reboot every 6 months. The human operating system has not had a reboot in 2000 years, meaning that human beings still there are certain needs, time immemorial, from the time you are a caveman all the way to now. The same marketing triggers apply. That's why your buy one get one free sales do so well, because people are more motivated by scarcity than by promise of gain. So these are the time-tested principles that agencies will have to draw back. So with all the automation great, and I will go into automation in a minute, I'm not discounting that at all, but you need to go back to the main thing, and the main thing is human beings have not changed, and agencies, a good agency with the right copywriters, with the right persuasion tools, with the right triggers, can bring that perspective in, that despite all the fragmentation, and the anchoring still remains. Let me illustrate that with a personal story of mine. 9 years ago, so humor me, 9 years ago, actually 10 years ago, I fell in love with this hot girl who looks like an African-American celebrity. So you see my WhatsApp message and everything, you say, hey, you look like the biggest Brandy fan in the world. No, that's my wife. So about 7 years ago, we wanted to get married, I didn't have money. And so what I did was I sold ebooks online to raise money for my wedding. And I used the story of the wedding to sell the books in order to fund my wedding. And because I used that story, even though we used at that time the most cutting-edge marketing technologies, cutting-edge e-commerce platforms and everything, what happened was we broke even in 5 minutes, we made money within half an hour and financed the wedding in under a month. We got married on top of the KL Tower overlooking KLCC. So what this tells you is stories do matter. Copywriting matters. Human psychology matters. And that's the first fundamental when you're doing that. Second is, on the other side of the coin, agencies need to be advisors. And what are advisors? Basically, as I mentioned earlier, there's fragmentation. There's a lot of information out there. And it's crazy. And the agency, beyond being an anchor, they also need to be the ones that say, hey, these technologies are the most relevant, these mediums are the most relevant to your market, and these are the best practices because we have tested in-house. Because by the time you get best practices from overseas, let's say you wait for a conference, it's already too late. That's why there needs to be an experimental laboratory of sorts in order to do that. So you need to be an advisor. Number 3, you need to be an actor. I had a chat with the head of group, and I think it was 3 years ago. He said something really interesting. He said digital is actually manual labor. Digital is manual labor, and what he means by that is pre-net, very easy. You get your designer, get your writer, write something, tell the staff or tell the newspapers, hey, run this for 3 weeks, and then boom, it goes out. That's it. How many of you know digital isn't like that? With blogging, social media, SEO, paid traffic and everything, it requires a lot of actors. It requires a lot of human beings. Like social media is really like the new sweatshop in that sense, because you have people working around the clock.